Hi, y'all. It's me, and I'm back for episode 2 of Fit Fueled Female. And this time, I'm coming to you from my hotel room in Mexico City. It's not exactly a studio, but between meetings, this was the only moment I could find. So we're rolling with it. No mic, no equipment, and just gonna go with the flow. Because, that's the thing about building something while you're juggling everything. Sometimes you have to make it happen from wherever you are, hotel room and all. So, yeah, I survived the vid again. It came in hot, swinging hard, per usual, typical COVID style. But I think I've officially made it to the other side, minus the lingering cough and the occasional dramatic sigh. Another lovely COVID variant is making the rounds because why not? And fun fact, this was my fifth time getting COVID. Like, seriously, COVID, why are you so obsessed with me? So here's how it all went down, y'all. Let's start with date night because nothing screams romance like a sudden wave of COVID induced nausea hitting you just as your husband is handing the keys to the valet. We had the sitter, we had the reservation, and y'all even got dressed for the first time in 6 days. And then boom, nausea hits. At first, I of course blame my husband's driving. And then I thought, well, maybe a ginger ale at the bar will help save the night. But one ginger ale and one piece of bread later, yeah, no. Plans canceled. Mood totally killed. Welcome to my life. But of course, it didn't stop there. My 4-year-old, she completely relapsed. Just when I thought she was on the mend, she woke up looking like she'd been hit by a Mack truck and sounding like she smoked a pack of cigarettes overnight. My 6-year-old son, poor kid slept for 3 days straight. And when he finally rallied, I was like, yes, I think we're in the clear. So I let him go on his camp field trip. And spoiler alert, I had to pull him out of school for the next 2 days because he got sick again. Mom of the year over here, I know. Meanwhile, I'm all over here just trying to survive and work and showing up to Zoom calls with my camera off, muting every 2 seconds to hack along, answering emails in between waves of body aches and brain fog. The guilt, y'all, real. And the emails, the inbox, completely relentless. And then there's my husband. Didn't even get sick, not even a sniffle. Now, to be fair, he was incredible. He held it down, he managed the kids, he kept the house running. But of course, I still got up and did the dishes and cooked. But my fault because apparently I don't know how to let go of control, even when I'm stuck with a fever and half a lung functioning. And then just when I thought I'd get a moment to breathe, literally, I had to jump on a work trip to Mexico City on Monday. 7,300 feet of elevation, fresh off of COVID, or better yet, still battling COVID. And there I am, my lungs barely online. And I'm trying to act normal in business meetings, speak another language, and I'm over here climbing stairs like I'm summiting Everest. And then I attempt my workouts because, of course, I do. But I did know that I needed to modify. For those of you who know me, you know that modifying isn't exactly my strong suit. I don't know how to do it literally. And as I was trying to plan my workout, I kind of freaked out because I have a typical routine I follow when I'm traveling. I didn't know what to do with high altitude and COVID. So I called in a friend. I called ChatGPT for backup. I asked it to create a workout for me that wouldn't crush me, and it delivered power walking at an incline and a modified floor workout. It wasn't intense, but it was movement over excuses. And I won't lie, I finished those sessions looking like I had just run a marathon. COVID lungs plus high altitude, totally humbling. Now, quick side note, because I do think there are a few things that have helped me bounce back a little quicker than expected. I took 10,000 IUs of vitamin D for a few days, and I also got a chiropractic adjustment with electroacupuncture before the trip to help stimulate circulation and try to get my lungs to recover. Can I prove that's what got me through? No, but I'm not over here questioning it either. And, somewhere in the middle of all of that, the travel, the symptoms, the trying to scale back, I realized a couple of things, and I want to share some lessons with you. The first one, you can't wait for permission to rest. You have to give it to yourself. I kept pushing through, doing dishes, cooking, answering emails between coughs, because that's me and that's what I do. I keep going, even sometimes when my body is waving that giant red flag. But at one point, I just stopped. I looked at my husband and said, my gosh, no, I need to go lie down. And that was it. The world didn't fall apart. Dinner may not have gotten made the way that I usually do it, but it was functional and I let go. And that was the lesson. Not that I stopped everything, but that I finally realized I could, that I didn't need to earn rest by hitting rock bottom. I could just ask for it or give myself permission for it. And here's what hit me: it is wild how guilty I felt for resting, even while sick. But I would never expect someone I love to push through the way I push myself. So why do I always expect that from me, especially as a woman? And especially as a woman who is so used to performing at a high level. I think we as females wear productivity like it's a badge of honor or something. We equate stillness with laziness, rest with weakness. But the truth is, rest isn't quitting, it's repair, it's a reset, it's listening to your body. And maybe the more radical thing we can do isn't to power through, it's to stop before we break. The world didn't fall apart when I laid down, and that's when it hit me. Maybe I'm not holding up the universe after all. Hard truth, y'all. We're not the glue holding everything together. I know it feels that way, especially when you're the one remembering the dentist appointments, answering the emails, picking up the slack around the house, and still finding a way to show up like nothing's falling apart behind the scenes. But it's not all on you, and it never should have been. We carry so much weight, believing everything depends on us. But the truth, most of it can wait, and some of it can be done by someone else, and a lot of it might actually not need to get done at all, which leads me to lesson two. The world can absolutely wait, and it will just be fine without you for a minute. This one stings a little, and it stung me, but in some ways it's freeing. Yeah, I missed a few meetings. I didn't respond to every email. I didn't show up the way that I typically do. Guess what? The world kept spinning. No one fired me. The house didn't implode. And turns out I'm not as essential to the universe as I thought I was. Rude, but also kind of a relief. And one moment that really got me, I had to ask for coverage at church because I just couldn't do it on Sunday. I couldn't volunteer. And listen, I hate doing that. It felt like I was letting everyone down: the team, the kids, and yeah, the big man upstairs. But the truth, I was barely upright, and dragging myself there to prove something, that's not service. That's running yourself into the ground. So I stayed home. Someone else stepped in. The kids were just fine. And I had a moment of clarity. We carry guilt for not doing things no one actually expects us to do while we're half dead. No one asked me to be a superhero. I kind of made that part up myself. And the more I sit and I sat with that, the more I realized how often we put ourselves on the last priority list because we're so incredibly afraid of disappointing people. But here's the thing: the people who love you the most, they don't want your burnt out version. They want your healthy one. So, yeah, sometimes the most productive thing you can do is nothing. You're not failing, you're not resetting. And shocker, the big man's got it. God's got it. So, the next time you're over there spiraling, whether to show up half sick, half functioning, half you, and completely exhausted, just remember, you're not the savior. That job's already been taken. Now, let's get into your power move because awareness is one thing, but action is what creates change. This week, I want you to ask yourself something. What's one boundary that you can protect, even if it's small, that helps you show up whole and not hollow? Maybe it's saying no to that extra call. Maybe it's logging off on time for once, or maybe logging off a little earlier. Maybe it's giving yourself 15 minutes of silence before walking through the door. Whatever it is, small shifts create really big impacts, which brings me to my favorite way to wrap up every episode. What's been fueling me lately? This week, Liquid IV. And no, this is not an ad, but it's what's been helping me. I have legit been living off of this stuff. Post COVID in Mexico City, trying to stay upright through meetings and modified workouts. It's hydration with electrolytes, and it's just enough of a boost to help me feel like a semi functional adult. I highly recommend it, especially if you're in a season of recovery, you're traveling, or you're just trying to avoid crashing. So that's it for today, y'all. COVID may have come for me again, but life didn't stop, and neither did I. Well, okay, I did stop, but isn't that the point? Rest is productive. The world can definitely wait, and we don't always have to push ourselves to prove something. Before I go, I really just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to everyone who subscribed, shared, or sent a message or left a review. Your support means so much more than you know. Some of the heartfelt messages I've received have honestly stopped me in my tracks. Women tell me this is exactly what they needed to hear, that they feel seen or that they finally felt less alone. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. That's why Fit Fueled Female exists. So if this episode resonates with you, I'd love if you left a review or passed it along to someone who needs a reminder that showing up doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be you. And as always, stay fit, stay fueled, and I look forward to seeing you next time.